The Lincoln Motor Company has been on an extensive journey to completely reinvent themselves in the luxury space, and that journey started with the flagship Navigator back in 2018. However, today I'm at a studio in Detroit, Michigan, because Lincoln is finally ready to show some love to their midsize two-row offering. This right here is the all-new redesigned Lincoln Nautilus. Let's take a first look. Now, looking at the exterior design of the 2024 Nautilus, you can see this is quite the transformation from the previous generation. And before we start talking about the beautiful new styling, I want to talk about the powertrain, because this is built on a fully revised C2 architecture. And while I can't show you guys under the hood, Lincoln asked me not to, this is a very early pre-production car, they are going to launch the vehicle here in America with two powertrain options. The standard engine will be a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, developing 295 horsepower. That's paired with an 8-speed automatic. All-wheel drive is standard. This model here is actually the hybrid option. It pairs a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder gas engine with an electric motor with standard all-wheel drive and an eCVT. Lincoln says this model here should deliver around 310 horsepower, and while they weren't ready to quite share fuel economy or performance figures yet, this should be a great powertrain option for those of you who are looking in this mid-size luxury SUV space. But let's go ahead and talk about the exterior styling. Now I'm going to shift your attention from the gray version here, which is the black label, to this jet black painted in this red carpet red exterior color. You can see this color is definitely bold. It really helps to show off the lines of the new Nautilus, and I think that Lincoln has done a great job with the design. You can see this is part of their Quiet Flight 2.0 styling language here. You can see the grille has a lot of black accents on it. It's a much larger grille versus the previous generation. I also love how the Lincoln Star logo there is illuminated, which should be standard on the higher trims. You can see there's also an LED light bar that connects the two headlights together. And then this model here isn't the black label, so you have kind of like a bi-LED design for the full LED headlights. There's also sequential turn signals, LED daytime running lights, and Lincoln actually says they're going to offer a total of 4 different grille finishes. You can see on the jet black version, it's a more blacked out grille, versus on the black label, it's not quite as dark. It's more like a chromatic gray finish. So it's going to kind of depend on what your personal style is going to be for the exterior design. Now, being built on a new platform, this is the updated C2 architecture, Lincoln was able to stretch the overall length and make this vehicle taller and wider. As you can see, its overall length, Lincoln says, is about 2 inches longer than the prior generation. So it should be around 193 inches long. Its wheelbase has also been stretched by about 2 inches. It should be around 114 inches long. They also said they made the vehicle about 1.5 inches taller, 1 inch wider. So you can really see that in the stance. This kind of gives me more of an Aviator vibe. Remember, the Nautilus slots between the Corsair and the Aviator in the lineup. You can see the wheels. Lincoln will offer a choice of 8 different wheels, ranging from a 20-inch wheel going up to a 21. This right here is the 22-inch wheel that you get with the Jet Black Edition package. It has a 255/45 width tire. I really love the way the wheels look with the body-colored wheel arches. And it just kind of gives it a much more premium stance to it. Now you can see here, looking at the rest of the profile, you're also going to notice on the jet black you have a black side mirror cap, you have a black roof, which Lincoln says that the black roof two-tone color combination is actually going to be standard across the board on every trim of the Nautilus, because they wanted to make the vehicle appear a little bit less tall. Even though this is, again, a taller vehicle, it should also have features like a panoramic sunroof. You have these aerodynamic roof rails, and then you can see here the door handles that, just like on the Continental before and on the Aviator, you have this kind of digital latch system here where you just push this button, the door opens for you. It also should have a soft closing feature. And I also really like here, this little feature here where you have Nautilus spelled along the sides of the door panel here. They kind of just give it a little bit more visual cues to your eyes to look in certain places. I also love the blacked out themes here. Now looking at the rear of the vehicle, it definitely looks so much larger from this angle here, and you can really see the much more premium look. Remember, this car is going to compete with vehicles like the Lexus RX, a BMW X5, and Lincoln, I think, nailed it when you look at the design. You can see you have that same full light blade LED taillight where it kind of follows their Quiet Flight design theme, where the back here, you can see Lincoln says that they kind of styled the taillights to look like picture like a bird's wingtips when they're trying to go in for a landing, versus at the front, they're kind of flipping the headlights up to show that the vehicle is taking off. That's all about their Quiet Flight design philosophy. Down here you can see, surprised to see no visible exhaust tips, with everybody kind of going toward electrification. It's kind of the better move. I think it's just overall a cleaner look. Now Lincoln says there should be a Nautilus badge here. However, these are very early prototype models. Now you'll be able to tell the difference between the powertrains between that badge, because in the hybrid model, it'll be a blue accented Nautilus badge, versus in the gas version, it won't have that kind of blue accent there. Now, I want to show you guys the cargo area here, which you can kind of open up. It should be a power liftgate, but again, this is a very early prototype model. Now, this vehicle here, unlike the Aviator, is not a 3-row model. If you want a 3rd-row seat, you're gonna have to go check out the Aviator. But you can see here in terms of the cargo space, I don't have final cargo figures just yet, but because this doesn't have a 3rd row, it has a ton of room. So to me, this looks like it has more space versus the Lexus RX or maybe even a BMW X5. But remember, at 193 inches long, this is on the longer end of the segment. Underneath here, you can see there actually is a room for a spare tire and a little bit of underfloor storage. You can see the 12-volt battery lives underneath here. And if you fold down those seats, it should expand it out, which I don't have final figures just yet, but it should be among the biggest in the segment. So the exterior of the new Nautilus is gorgeous, but really the big story for this redesigned model is actually the interior. And I have to say, guys, this interior looks like it belongs in a concept car, and the fact that this is a production vehicle really shows you just how serious Lincoln is about redefining themselves in the luxury space. Now, as I get in and shut the door has a nice solid sounding thunk. Now keep in mind, this is a very early prototype, and this wall of screens here, again, I have never seen anything like this in a production car. And I remind you, this is going on sale early next year. And what it essentially comprises of are two 23.8-inch displays. So there's one over here in front of the driver and one over there on the passenger. It combines to make a 48-inch display. 48-inch display, and you also have an 11.5-inch touchscreen over here, which you can see has Google Maps built in. This is an all-new software system here. Lincoln doesn't even have a name for it yet. That's how new it is, but this is not the same system you're going to find in the current Lincoln or Ford products. So this is the next generation beyond Sync 4. So I have to say, this is a game changer, and I can't believe this because it's standard equipment across the board, Lincoln says, even on the base version of the Nautilus. But other than that, I am sitting in the Black Label. This has the redwood themed interior, so you can see the seats. These are the 24-way perfect position seats. They're heated and ventilated with a massaging feature. They also have some suede Alcantara, some premium leather. There's also some vegan materials that you'll find, sustainable materials. There's also some nice American walnut trim that you'll find over here along the door panels as well. It's a little bit hard to see in this kind of darker theme here, but you can see the dash has this kind of leather stitched area here where there's leather with genuine stitching on the upper portion. It kind of carries over onto the door panels, which again, that wing theme here, Quiet Flight, is kind of carried over here with the way the interior kind of flows into the door panels. You have this kind of wave texture here in the door panels where there's ambient lighting in the actual doors where it's interchangeable. The Revel audio system in here, I believe, has like 24 speakers. I haven't had a chance to hear it, but it has metal speaker covers. You have 3-person memory. The window controls, they feel pretty high quality, actually. They also are metal accented. And again, a lot of the switchgear in here definitely doesn't feel like it was borrowed from Ford. I mean, you're gonna see that especially here in the center display where you find these crystal glass controls along with their piano key shifter, where it's a shift by wire, along with these kind of metal accented toggles. Open this up, you can see wireless phone charging pad, cup holders, 2 USB-C charging ports, and then here's the key fob for the vehicle. I'm surprised it's not a new key, but this probably could just be for pre-production specs, so we'll have to wait and see if the new version or the actual production car does have an actual new key fob to it. You can see the steering wheel has these kind of touch-sensitive pads along each side of the steering wheel. It's got a flat bottom and a flat top design, and you can see it also has the sensors here for what Lincoln used to call Active Glide. They're actually getting rid of that name entirely. It's just called Blue Cruise. So on the Navigator that I showed you guys earlier last year, they called it Active Glide for their hands-free driver assistance tech. Now it's just called Blue Cruise across the board. They decided to go away with that name to kind of keep the consistency. But you can see here this display, there's the Google Map display. You can also go here, go to a home page. You can also go to the vehicle settings here. This interior in general also has what they're calling a digital scent. There's like 3 different types of scents you can do where it'll waft a perfume in the interior. So again, those are all features that you expect when you're buying a vehicle like this. And I think Lincoln has pretty much nailed it in terms of the tech. I mean, for a prototype model, you have suede Alcantara here on the headliner. The seats also feel really comfortable, and then above me here, you also have this really big panoramic glass roof that stretches all the way into the second row. That should let in a nice amount of light. You can also, it looks like, open up this glass roof, which is good. But overall, let me know what you guys think in the interior. I know this is probably going to be a lot to get used to, but at the same time, sitting here, I actually kind of like how the screen itself doesn't seem to really get in my way. You can still look over it and see what's in front of you, but then this right here just looks very futuristic. Now, checking out the back seat of the all-new Nautilus, because this vehicle doesn't have a third row, this is where Lincoln was able to take advantage of the increase in the wheelbase, because the legroom back here is plentiful. Now, I don't have final figures just yet for the rear seat legroom, but you can see here the floor is almost completely flat, which is going to be great for a center passenger. You have rear seat air vents. You have 3-level heated seats back here, although Lincoln did confirm with me you cannot get ventilated seats in the Nautilus, at least in the US market. I think they offer it in China, but not here for the US market. Hopefully they'll change that. In terms of the materials, you can see they didn't skimp back here on the materials either. You have stitched leather, you have the same metal speaker covers, the same nice leather over here along the door panels where you would rest your elbows. And then you can see when I open up the door, this light actually comes on to let, I guess, people know that the doors are open. Close the door, the light then shuts off. So again, that is interchangeable. It's the same thing as well on the front doors. Over here, you can see the seats, they do have the ability to recline a little bit, and you can also, of course, fold it down to expand the cargo capacity. And then if you fold this down here, you have a little bit of storage here, and then you also have cup holders. So overall, the back seat area has a ton of legroom. It has some really good features back here, including heated back seats, and you can see here with the panoramic roof, it does also let in a lot of light. And for somebody like my height, you can see there's still plenty of headroom left over. Although for taller folks, you might find yourself getting a little bit too close to the headliner. So after finally getting a chance to see the all-new third-generation Nautilus in person, it's pretty clear that Lincoln is pulling out all the stops for this new model. I mean, this is a very important addition to their lineup because, as you guys know, in the mid-size two-row luxury SUV space, this is going to compete with heavy hitters like the Lexus RX, the Genesis GV80, the BMW X5, the Mercedes-Benz GLE, and of course the Audi Q8. And I think what Lincoln has done here is they've really done a great job at just making the Nautilus fit within the family, because the previous generation to me always gave off kind of fancy Ford Edge vibe, and as you can see with this model here, it essentially just looks like a new version of the Aviator. It has the same kind of presence to it as an interior with all this tech in it that's seriously going to wow a lot of people, and with the availability, of course, with a hybrid and a gas turbo engine, it should appeal to a lot of people, especially looking in this space. Now, if you are looking to get your hands on the all-new Nautilus, Lincoln says that you can actually go to their website right now and order the vehicle. You can basically put your name in line to get the car. However, you're going to have to wait until early next year to actually take delivery. This will be a 2024 model year, but it won't actually be hitting dealer showrooms until early next year. And pricing, they actually already announced. Now, the previous generation started at around $45,000 for the base model. This new one, of course, with all the additional tech upgrades and just the way nicer looks, is going to start at just under $52,000. I know it's a pretty big upcharge. However, I think with all the upgrades that Lincoln has made, it's definitely worth the extra money. Now, if you want something that's fully loaded, like that black label over there, Lincoln says that the topped out version should come in at just under $76,000. So again, $52,000 to $76,000 puts it right in the heart of the mid-size two-row luxury SUV space. And I think when it goes on sale early next year, it's really going to turn a lot of heads and really show people that Lincoln is serious about being taken seriously in the luxury space. Well, with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.